November 22nd, 1963, Los Angeles, California. A 69-year-old man was dying of throat cancer in a hospital bed. And this wasn't just any man. It was Aldous Huxley, the guy who wrote Brave New World, an entire book about a dystopian society controlled by a drug called soma, which kept everyone happy and completely disconnected from reality. Yeah. Guess what this guy asked for in the final hours of his life? Most people, when they're dying, ask for things like seeing their children, talking to a priest, eating ice cream, listening to a favorite song. Human things. Touching things. Aldous picked up a little piece of paper because he could no longer speak and scribbled a note to his wife. What do you think it said? I love you. No. Take care of the children. No. It said LSD, 100 micrograms, intramuscular. This is the most committed to the brand man in all of world literature. He spent his whole life writing about psychedelic drugs, and when the moment came, he basically said, let's maintain editorial consistency until the very end, darling. And the surreal detail, his wife, Laura Huxley, read the note, looked at her dying husband, and was like, okay, that tracks. She grabbed the syringe, calculated the dose like a certified pharmacist, and injected her husband as casually as if she were giving him a B12 shot. A few hours later, she gave him another dose. Because with Huxley, nothing was ever half measure. Aldous died under the effects of LSD, while his wife whispered in his ear, go toward the light, darling. And honestly, the guy probably saw the light, saw the path, saw the universe, saw next month's weather forecast. And the most absurd detail, he died on the same day President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. The news overshadowed everything so completely that almost nobody noticed one of the greatest writers of the 20th century had embarked on the most psychedelic, all-inclusive trip in history. Imagine arriving in heaven that day. St. Peter with a spreadsheet like, Kennedy, president, gunshot wound to the head. Huxley, writer, acid in the bloodstream. Productive day, huh, everybody? Cambridge, England. Second half of the 1960s, there was this kid named Syd Barrett. Painfully handsome, talented, charismatic. The kind of guy who walked into a room and immediately made everybody want to be his friend. He founded a band, maybe you've heard of it, called Pink Floyd. Not sure if they ever got popular. Syd was literally the brain of the band. The early songs, the aesthetic, the bizarre lyrics, all of it came out of his head. And it was exactly that brilliant head that he decided to turn into a science experiment. At first, it was manageable. A little acid candy here, another there. It was the 1960s. Every artist was doing it. Orange juice, toast, LSD, bread and butter. But Syd was a professional. He started taking acid every single day. Seriously. Friends later reported that at some point it basically became part of breakfast. There's a legendary story that has to be told. Supposedly, one day before a show, somebody put a heavy sedative called Mandrax into his hair gel. When Syd walked on stage and started sweating under the lights, the substance began dripping through his scalp and getting absorbed in real time throughout the entire performance. The man was literally being drugged by his own hair. From that point on, Syd entered a very specific kind of spiral. He started showing up to concerts and simply not playing. He'd just stand there holding the guitar like a mannequin in a music store window. During one American TV performance, he decided halfway through the song that he wasn't going to move his lips anymore. The other band members were lip-syncing like maniacs, pretending everything was normal, while he stood perfectly still, staring directly into the camera. The band did what every company does when an employee stops performing. They hired a replacement without firing the original. They brought in David Gilmour to help out. Then, one beautiful day, on the way to a show, somebody in the car asked, "Wait, are we picking Syd up?" Answer, "No, not today." And they never did again. Pink Floyd basically forgot Syd Barrett on the way to the gig. He went back to Cambridge, shaved his head and eyebrows, and became a gardener. When people asked about the Pink Floyd years, he'd say he didn't really remember them, and maybe that wasn't even a lie. He died in 2006 after spending 40 years taking care of tomatoes while his former bandmates sold The Dark Side of the Moon and became billionaires. Look, I honestly don't know why you watched an entire video about celebrities destroyed by a molecule accidentally discovered by a Swiss chemist named Albert Hofmann in 1938. But we've already come this far, and it's too late for me to judge you now. The moral is simple. LSD doesn't warn you when you're coming back. Sometimes it gives you pet sounds. Sometimes it gives you a permanent podcast inside your head. Sometimes it sends you back without eyebrows, planting tomatoes in Cambridge. And sometimes, like in Aldous's case, it simply doesn't send you back at all. Have a good day. Drink water. If you're going to take medicine, read the label, and maybe just stick to coffee.